Can you hear me now, please? Please help me check. Can you hear me now? Thank you so much. Can you hear me? I just unmuted myself. I've been muted all along. Can you hear me now? Oh dear, thank you so much. I'd have done 2 hours not talking to anybody. Welcome everybody. Can you hear me now? Let me confirm. Oh, awesome. Thank you. So hi Oluwa Bumi. Thank you. Yeah, I can hear myself now. Thank you so much. Welcome, welcome, guys. Please let me know where you're watching this webinar from. Let me know the city, let me know the country, let me know where you're watching it from. Just say your name as we wait. We still have a bit of time. I'm going to start dot 7:05. So please let me know where you're watching this webinar from, your city, your name. I would like to meet you. We've had a lot of people join the community lately, and I'd like to meet each and every one of you. Thank you so much, Oluwabomi, for alerting me that I wasn't audible. So I was trying to say welcome to everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you guys. So please leave a comment. What's your name? Where are you watching this webinar from? I'd really like to meet you watching from ABJ. How is the FCT this evening? I want to have at least 10 feedbacks. Someone is watching from ABJ. Hi, Esther. Hi, Esther. Thank you so much for being here. Esther, where are you watching this webinar from? Esther, where are you watching this webinar from? Do you mind sharing? Who else? Please invite your family and friends and well wishers. We start 7:05 on the DOT. All right, so we start 7:05. So we have about 1 minute to go. Hi, Esther is watching from Lagos. Hi, Esther. How is Lagos? Eko ni baje. Okay, FCT is cool, amazing. So we have 6 people on the call. I need at least let's be 10. Invite your friends. If you are in the WhatsApp group, please help me. We have 8 people. Amazing. Please help me introduce yourself. If you're in the WhatsApp group, please take a screenshot and send that. Say we've started. Oh, I remember there's no replay. I'm going to pull off and pull down the video immediately after this session. So there's no replay. You want to watch till the end. We have amazing gifts for everybody who gets to watch till the end. Okay. So please introduce yourself. 7:05. We get this ball rolling. 7:05, we get this ball rolling. So, okay, we have 9 people, 1 person to go, and we get this ball rolling. So, please let me know where you're watching us from. Let me meet you. Let me know your name. We have 7 people. Amazing. So, please introduce yourself. Let's know where you're watching us from. We would really, really love to meet you guys. Hi, thank you. I'm really glad that you were able to join me live. This session is going to be amazing. To be explosive. Thank you, Esther. I'm seeing you, but I'm messaging in the WhatsApp group. I really appreciate. 7:05. Let's do this, guys. 1 second. Another group I haven't alerted. Welcome, everybody. Please let me know where you're watching this webinar from. Am I clear? Can you see me clearly? The last time I tried this webinar, welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Right. All right. So, good evening, everybody. Welcome. I am really excited to have you all join us today. Welcome, everybody. Yay, let's go. I love the energy in the room. So welcome. I'm really excited. To everybody watching on my Facebook profile, on the Parent of Africa Facebook group, and the YouTube channel. My name is Precious James Obona, and I am really, 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 really excited to have you all join me for today's class. The last time I tried doing a webinar, my network was so poor that I had to literally like cross my fingers. Lord, let this not happen today again. And I'm really happy that the network is a lot clearer, and my toddler is sleeping. My light is clear. My audio is great. So I think we can start. So welcome everybody. Hi from Akwa Ibom. Hello. We are in Akwa Ibom. Are you? Thank you for joining us. My name is Precious James Obonna. I am an early childhood educator, a phonics tutor, and a learning strategist. One of the reasons why I'm passionate about my work as a learning strategist is because I understand the struggle of a number of pupils and students in the classroom. I have worked practically as a classroom teacher for over 8 years. This has spanned towards over different capacities. So, hi from the UAE. How you doing, Ma? Thank you for joining. I've worked in different capacities. I've worked as a nanny in the crèche. I started working in the educational space from someone is joining from Uyo, my city. Thank you for joining. So I have worked in different capacities in the educational sector. I've worked as a nanny in the crèche way back 2013. I've worked as a school administrator. I've worked as a subject teacher. I've worked in the secondary school during my teaching practice. I have a degree in education. I have worked as a subject teacher. I've worked as a grade six teacher. So I've worked in different capacities. And one thing that I have known to be a prominent issue for a lot of children and a lot of parents is that they still don't do well. So we find that a teacher does their best, they bring their A game to the classroom, they try to innovate as possible, but the results of these children do not equate the amount of effort that the teachers put into the classroom. That's one thing that I have seen prominent. Someone is joining from Just Plateau. Wow, thank you so much for joining. One thing I have noticed in my 8 years of being in the educational sector is that beyond the teaching, there are other factors that contribute to a child's academic success and performance. Let me say this again. Beyond, we have 10 people on the call. I'm so excited. Welcome, everybody. Please stay till the end of this webinar. This will change your child's academic fortune. And I don't say this lightly. I do not say this lightly at all. So, in my 8 years of working in the educational sector, one thing I have noticed is that beyond teaching, there are other factors that contribute to a child's academic success. And these other factors are what I hope to use my platform to spotlight on. That it really goes beyond a teacher teaching excellently well. It goes beyond asking children to go and read. There are other factors that must go hand in hand to contribute to a child's academic success. Now, a lot of times we assume that learning is an innate skill. We assume that once a child is born, that hi Uju, well done, thank you so much for joining. We all assume that when a child is born, they should be able to learn. So what do we do when a child gets of age 5, 6? We toss their books to them and say, "Go read your book. Go and read your book." Right? We all assume that learning is innate. Children are born with it. But today I'm going to break that table to state that learning is not an innate skill. Children need to be taught how to study. Children need to be taught how they learn. Children need to be taught how they learn in general. And children's brains need to be boosted. We can't just assume. The reason why children do not perform well, the reason why children do not like the classroom is because they are like aliens in human race. They don't understand what's happening. One of the things I hope to do, if you follow me, is to provide you the strategies that will help your child not just perform well, but fall in love with learning, because learning is very important. Okay, learning is very important. Now, for a child to be able to learn, there are a lot of skills that come hand in hand. that boost learning. Hi, Jamila. Thank you. Why finally got in? Oh, wow. Was the network bad? Thank you so much for joining. Now, there are a lot of skills that come together when a child is learning. Okay. And these skills are what we call cognitive skills. Now, what are cognitive skills? Cognitive skills are the core skills your child's brain, your brain as well, uses to process, comprehend, retain information. And just like the word skills, they can be developed. Just like someone who is singing, you can't compare the prowess of a person who can sing but is not developed to the prowess of a person who can not sing. Okay, sorry, you can't compare. Hi, thank you. Wow, what happened? Is your network bad? Thank you guys so much for joining. Now, you cannot compare the prowess of a person who is musically gifted but is not trained, to that of a person who is trained. You can't compare the prowess of an actor who is trained and an actor who is not trained. It is always different. What am I trying to say? For your child to be able to learn optimally, we must dedicate time and effort. We must dedicate time and effort to getting them to developing their cognitive skills. Please, if you're on this live call, please help me like the video so it gets to more people. Thank you. We must understand that learning is not an innate skill. Okay, it is a skill that we need to develop. It is a skill that we all need to work on. Now, what are these cognitive skills? We have about 8 cognitive skills in general, and these cognitive skills work hand in hand. All right, these cognitive skills work hand in hand to aid learning. For your child to be able to understand, please like this video. Thank you. For your child to be able to understand, to retain information, to comprehend, these cognitive skills need to be on fire. Okay, these cognitive skills need to be sharpened. It needs to be developed. Now, what are these cognitive skills? We have the memory, we have the working memory and the long-term memory. We have the attentions, we have sustained attention, we have sustained attention, divided attention, and selective attention. We have logic and reasoning. We have auditory and visual processing. Then we have the attention. Okay, now, these are the skills that come hand in hand to aid learning. These skills come hand in hand to aid learning. Now, for every child who is either performing well or not performing well, it can be traced back to how well their cognitive skills are developed. Okay, thank you so much. For every child who is performing well and every child who is not performing well, these things, their performance can be traced back to how well their cognitive skills have been sharpened. That is why some children do well in maths. Why? Their logic and reasoning is more sharpened than the children who don't do well in maths. Now, here is the good news. There are actually things that you can do to develop these cognitive skills. And in today's webinar, I have picked out 2. In subsequent webinars, we're going to look at the other 5 or 4. But in today's webinar, I have picked out 2: attention and concentration. Why? So honestly, I didn't plan doing this webinar that talks about I didn't plan to do this webinar that talks about concentration and memory. The reason why I started to talk about it was because this week alone, I had about 4 or 5 parents reach out to me to lay these complaints. So we have a WhatsApp group where I allow parents ask questions. My WhatsApp is flooded with questions every single time. Okay, so one of the reasons why I said, okay, let me talk about this attention is and concentration is that attention, concentration, focus, and memory, precious memory. It's simply because a lot of parents were asking my child before he gets you send him on an errand before he gets to where going to, he has forgotten what you sent him to do. Another parent came and said, my child attention, they don't concentrate, their teachers are complaining. I had about 5 of these this week. So what I did initially was to create carousels and post on our Instagram handle and my WhatsApp community. But at the same time, I thought this is just giving people hacks. We need to understand how this works. We need to understand how these contribute, right, to aiding our children's learning skills. We need to understand. That was actually why I decided that, okay, we're going to pick out focus and concentration. Subsequently, we're going to pick out logic, visual processing, and auditory processing. Subsequently, we're going to pick out other study skills that help children. Okay, now I've laid the foundation around the cognitive skills that children need to learn. So, in my course of practice, always been able to link that once we are able to tick the most important, is the teacher teaching well? Is the child understanding? Or are they teaching according to the child's learning style? Does the child have any learning disabilities? If we are able to check all of this and we find that the child is okay, then their issues can be linked back to the development of their cognitive skills. Okay, now let's talk about concentration, attention. If you're getting value so far, I want to see the fire emojis. I want to see you. Please like this session. Let it reach more parents. As soon as you like it, Facebook is going to be like, oh, this woman, knows what she's saying. They're going to push it further. That's why we need you to like this session. So please, if you haven't liked it, please leave a comment. Don't just watch in the background. I want to see you. I want to see the comment section buzzing. Thank you so much for the fire emojis. All right. So now let's talk about concentration. The main reason, right, why children lack concentration is because their brains are wired differently from that of the adults. The main reason why children lack concentration is because their brains are wired differently from that of the adults. Of course, your child's brain is different. It is less developed than that of yours as an adult. That is why it looks as if you are able to concentrate better than your children. Okay, so when we even say when a child is not concentrating, what do we mean? Number one, they lack interest. So probably you're teaching and the child is busy fiddling with one thing or the other. So it simply means that they lack interest. That's number one. Number two, they have the inability to sit still, especially in the classroom. That child who lacks concentration is the child who is always taking one excuse or the other. Please, I want to do this. Please, I want to do that. They have the inability to sit still. Another one is that they are easily distracted, right? They are easily distracted. Thank you. I can see your comment section. I can see your comments rather. Thank you. Another reason is that they are easily distracted. They have difficulty following instruction. So if we're saying that our children lack concentration, they must tick either of these boxes. It's either that they lack interest, they don't show interest in learning, they don't show interest in doing certain activities. Number two, they have the inability to sit still. Okay. Number three, they are easily distracted. Number four, they have difficulties following instruction. So if your child lacks concentration, you should find where they fall under one, two, three, or four. So I want you to tell me which of them can you identify your child. I want to take feedback and I move on. So which of these classifications do you find your child? Does your child lack interest? Do they have the inability to sit still while learning or performing a task? Are they easily distracted? Do they have difficulty following instruction? So I need your feedback and we kick off. Okay, Esther is saying easily distracted and awesome. Awesome. Any other person? Can be as a result of lack of interest. Thank you. I'm unable to see some people's names because you didn't give StreamYard the go ahead to pick your names, but it's fine. I need more like 3 responses and we move on. Where do you find your child? Do they lack interest? Do they have the inability to sit still? Are they easily distracted? Do they have difficulty following instructions? Someone is saying difficulty following instructions. Awesome. Someone is saying inability to sit still. Great. She lacks interest in certain topics. I love it. Awesome. Okay. One more response and we move on. Someone is saying she lacks the inability to sit still. She lacks interest in certain subjects. One more response and we move on. Give me one, give me one more thing you've noticed about your child and their focus. Is it inability to sit still? One more response and we move to the next point. Okay, Jamila is saying easily distracted. The distraction doesn't make her sit long. Awesome, awesome. Well, someone is saying hi, welcome, introduce yourself. Awesome. So we've been able to identify ourselves in each of these classifications. We've been able to identify ourselves in each of these classifications. Easily distracted, doesn't sit long, lacks interest, and all of that. But you cannot um label your child in any of these steps until we consider a very salient concept, which is the concept of understanding your child's attention span. We can't label that my child lacks interest. We can't label that he's easily distracted, doesn't still sit still until we ascertain the attention span. Now, what is your child's attention span? Remember we said that adults and children have different concentration levels, attention focus. We could use any of those words interchangeably because they are not adults. So before we can say my child is really distracted, before we can say, yes, Mrs. Precious, my child is distracted, before you can say that, you must be able to ascertain your child's attention span. Now, according to childhood development experts, they said that attention span is the reasonable time expected of a child to focus on a given task. Your child's attention span is the reasonable time expected of your child to focus on a given task. That is their attention span. So there is a reasonable time. There is an average time. Now, how do we calculate attention span? Now, there are a number of formulas that we could use to calculate the child's attention span. So I'm going to give you guys mathematics now. You're going to calculate your child's attention span on this live call. So you're going to give me the figure. Get your child's age. Now, a child's attention span is 2 to 5 minutes of their age. So I like to use my Vicky's age. Vicky is 2. So her attention span is 2 to 5 minutes. So her attention span is 2 times 2, 4. 5 times 2, 10. So her attention span is between averagely 2 to 10 minutes. Averagely 2 to 10 minutes for my 2-year-old. So if for my 2-year-old it's 2 to 10 minutes, what do you guys think a 3-year-old's attention span should be? Can I have your response in the comment section? What do you think your 3-year-old's attention span should be? If the right attention span is between 2 to 5 minutes, so for my 2-year-old Vicky, her attention span, let me write it, I'm in this class and I'm learning. So Esther calculates, Esther says she has a 3 and a 5-year-old. Remember that I am a teacher, you're welcome to my lecture hall. So you have to calculate it. So Esther calculates 3 times 2, 6, 3 times 5, 15. So Esther's attention span is 6 to 15. Jamila, thank you. 6 to 15 minutes. We have 13 people on this call. I need you to give me your children's attention span. So your 5-year-old Esther, can you tell me? So let me write for my Vicky. I'm in this class too. Vicky is 4 to 10 minutes. So who else? Okay, for a 3-year-old, it's 6 to 10 minutes. Awesome. For a 3-year-old, it's 6 to 10 minutes. Awesome. For a 5-year-old, between 5 minutes and 5 years. No. For your 5 years, it's 2 to 5 minutes. So it's 10 to 25 minutes for your 5-year-old. Okay, so let me pin my Vicky's own. Yes, yes, yes. For your 5-year-old is 10 to 25 minutes. So what are you able to discover? It is now. Let me shock you further. Some other early childhood development experts have also come to say that what's it called, this attention span is further reduced to 2 to 3 minutes. So I'm actually just stretching. So there's also a possibility that your child can be between the interval of 2 to 3 minutes. So for my Vicky that is 2, her attention span could be actually 2 to 6 minutes. So a lot of times when we complain, my shy don't have attention, my shy don't have attention. The reason is because we have too much expectations. That is why Jamila said, "Wow, that means she's actually trying." Yes, there are other strategies we could use to increase, no matter what their average is. Okay, but we have to first acknowledge that our children probably do not have issues. Someone is saying yes, yes, yes. Wow. So Jamila is saying that she stays longer than 6 to 15 minutes. Awesome. So she is within her average. But don't let's not forget that we can push them to perform beyond average. Please like this call. Like this call. If you're on YouTube, Facebook, my personal profile, please like this call. Thank you. Now, I like what Jamila said. Yes, she actually, so a number of your kids actually stay longer, but you're expecting a 3-year-old to stay to 30 minutes, which is practically impossible. Can they do it? Yes. But before the end of that 30 minutes, they're either cranky, sleepy. If you do not use trigger activities in between what you're doing, if you're getting value, please use the fire emojis. Thank you. So we now understand that a lot of times what we complain as lack of attention is really over expectation on our path as adults. It's actually over expectation on our parts as parents, as teachers, as educators. Someone is saying that means I'm underutilizing my 8-year-old. I like it. Are you seeing? So it could be that you are reducing your child's attention span, the capacity they have, and as you reduce it, they stay within their comfort zone, or you are overestimating. Thank you for the fire emojis. It gives the energy to the room. So are you seeing? It's either you are underestimating their capacity or you are overestimating it. So first of all, before you complain, my child doesn't lack expectation. My child doesn't have attention, and all of that. We need to be able to determine if really they lack attention or we are overestimating what is needed of them. Now, at this point, it's important I put a caveat. There is a learning disability called ADHD. Thank you guys so much. If you're in the WhatsApp group, please help me take a screenshot and send to the group. Send to the group. There is no assurance of a replay. They need to come and get value. So please take a screenshot and send to the group. Thank you. Thank you guys so much. So I need to put a caveat before I continue with this session. And what is that caveat? That caveat is simply that there is a learning disability called ADHD. Now, ADHD is seen as attention deficit hyperactive disorder. It's a learning disorder. Now, how do we now ascertain if a child has ADHD? Number one, they have difficulty learning. They do not spend they have difficulty staying beyond 2 to 3 minutes to learn. They need constant guidance. They need constant guidance. They need constant guidance. They always have the probability of jumping. They won't finish this task. They've gone to the other one. They don't finish that task. They go to the other one, and they have the ability. They don't have the ability to control their impulse. That's how you're able to know. So if a child has ADHD. So whatever I'm saying here is a caveat. If you find that your child is under any of these classifications, they can't stay, they always jump from one task to the other, they have inability taking guidance, they always need constant guidance, please reach out to me. I'm not a special needs educator at all. At all, I have to put that out. I'm not a special needs educator at all, but I can link you to special needs experts who can help your children. I think we're good on that. So whatever I say here today is not directly applicable to the attention span, is not applicable to children with ADHD. It's important that I put that out there. Okay, so let's get to the how. How do we help children increase their attention span? Now we've gotten to the how. Number one, if you find that your child is underperforming to their attention span, or you generally just want to increase it, because the more, when we get to memory, you guys will be able to understand that attention and memory go hand in hand. It's what you give your attention to that you are able to remember. It's what a child gives their attention to that they are able to remember. Let me take, for instance, you can't casually drop your key, right? You just casually drop your key, your house key, your car key, whatever. You casually drop it, and you do not necessarily look to see where you dropped it. You didn't give it attention. You didn't concentrate. You will naturally forget. Why? Because you didn't tell your brain to retain that information. You didn't tell your brain. That's why we forget a lot of things. Why? You were not deliberate to remember. Let me give another instance. You go to work every day, you go to the market, you go to the church every day. You just drive, va, boom, va, boom. A lot of times, you don't even understand, you don't even remember what happened on your way to work. But if there was something remarkable that you paid a second attention to, for instance, where you're using the public transport and you had a little fracas with your bus driver, you're going to remember. You might have taken 30 trips around that route and you didn't remember anything. But just because you had a little fracas with the bus driver, you will say, hey, I will tell my husband. You won't call your husband. Ha, babe, do you know what happened? You won't necessarily call him on a good day because there was nothing remarkable that happened. You didn't pay any attention to anything. Nothing caught your attention per se, so you didn't remember. What I'm trying to explain is that attention and memory work hand in hand. It is what you pay attention to, it's what you pay attention to that you remember. So that's why we're having these two classes at the same time. So a lot of the things that are going to apply for concentration would also apply for memory. So how do we optimize and improve our children's concentration? Number one, reduce excessive screen time. If you've listened to any of my sessions, you would always find that I say this: reduce excessive screen time. Please, parents, reduce excessive screen time. Like my boss, Wendy Ologe, would always say, if you have younger children like myself, you are in luck. Like if you have children from like 6, 7 down, you are in luck because they are still malleable. They are still at their impressionable stage. They are still, according to Maria Montessori, they are still in a phase of life where they are absorbent. They take anything, any information. So it's easy to set structure. It is easy to set structure for your children in their formative years. Your children are older than 8, 9, 10. You're setting yourself up for jab cross, jab cross. Mommy, I want to do. Mommy, I don't want to do. Mommy, I want to do. Mommy, I don't want to do. But for my 2-year-old, I put off the TV. There is no revolt. The TV is on. There is no revolt. They are in the formative stage. So if you're a young parent like myself, the number one thing you can do to help your child's academics, yay, guys, please take a screenshot. We have 16 people on the live. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Take a screenshot and please send to the WhatsApp group. I really appreciate 17 parents on the live call. Thank you guys so much for joining. Back to what I was saying. Your young children are at their impressionable stage. So the best time for you to start following whatever I'm teaching is now. If you have young children, I'm not saying if your children are older, you can't do anything. But this is just my honest advice. And my boss will always say, Precious, you are in luck. You still have Vicky and she's just two. You are in luck. For you that have older children, there are still things you can do. But for those of us who are young parents, grab this information and go and implement. It's not the just hearing, that like the Bible says, it's not just the hearers that are blessed, but the doers that are blessed. Okay, so let's get to why should you reduce excessive screen time? Now, there are a lot of behavioral disorders, there are a lot of health that can be linked to excessive screen time, health hazards that can be linked to excessive screen time, no social problems that can be linked to excessive screen time. But what concerns this class today is how excessive screen time affects your child's brain. Now, excessive screen time has been found to cause premature thinning of the precortex. The precortex is a part of your brain. We have the hippocampus, the amygdala. We have a number of the parts of the brain. But now, excessive screen time causes a premature thinning of the precortex. Now, what is the precortex? It is a structure of your brain that is associated with um, learning and higher executive functions or higher brain functions generally. So this part of the brain is responsible for formation processing, memory association, thought, voluntary physical action. That is what the brain, the part of the cortex, that's what the part of the brain called cortex is in charge of. Now, when you expose children to excessive screen time from as much as 4 hours a day, 5 hours, 6, 7, 8 hours a day, a lot of children stay on the screen for that length of time a day. It causes premature thinning of the cortex. And what does premature thinning of the cortex do? It is responsible for cognitive impairments. It is responsible for loss of memory. Now, in the human cycle, at a point will come in your child's life, when in your life, everybody's life, when their cortex starts thinning as a result of old age. A time will come when your child's cortex starts what's it called? Starts thinning as a result of old age. But with excessive screen time, it has been found to that it has been found that with excessive screen time, sorry guys, with excessive screen time, it has been found great. It has been found that your child's cortex can thin prematurely. This is one of the major reasons why I do not encourage great. This is one of the reasons why I do not encourage screen time for young children. Now, for my toddler Victory, in her early years, we did screen time, but it was very how am I going to say it? It wasn't ordered, right? So she could use screen today. It's still 3 months time before she uses screen again. Okay, it could be a long time before she even knows what screen is. Again, we have 21 people on the call. Thank you guys so much for joining. We appreciate you. Now, so for my toddler Victory, we had I didn't introduce screen on time, and the only screen she had access to was my phone. So till now, I don't understand when parents say that my child is fighting with my phone or fighting with the TV, because I can't relate. Why? I remember that at that stage they're impressionable. So I didn't give her the impressions that she could use screen at any time. Even till today, her screen time is less than an hour, and we are done for the day. except probably we have a favorite show we're watching and I have her on there. But if not, she has no business with the screen. Now, what can my child do? I use the screen to replace the times I am busy. I use the screen to replace the times I am busy. There are tons of activities that you can get your children involved in. Tons of activities. I know you might be thinking that your child is learning with the screen while they're on the screen, that your child is learning. But what they are learning is not compared to what they will learn if you use other means like reading, like sports, like brain boosting activities, like games in the home. It's not compared to what they gain when they are on screen 24/7. So, what do we do, right? What do we do in place of screen? There are a number of things you can do in place of screen. Reading, we'll get to that point soon. But trust me, there are a number of things parents can use in place of screen. A number of things. So the first thing to do to help your children's attention and concentration is to reduce screen time. Now, the American Pediatric Association encourages that children less than 18 months should not be given access to screens. Children less than 18 months should not be given access to screen. I know um parents who put TVs in their toddlers' rooms, their babies' rooms, and put on the TV for them. They don't need it. Like my boss would always encourage, remove those TVs from your children's rooms. They don't need it. Jamila is asking a question. She says, I use screen where she's look, see here, whatever you hear me say, I'd always encourage, guys. I would always encourage do what works for your home. Okay? So take the knowledge you're getting and work it within your unique context as a family. Let me say this again. Take the knowledge you're getting and work it within your unique context as a family. So if you need her to be on the screen to plait her hair, but she plaits her hair for more than 1 hour, she's 3. Okay, you can decide if that is what you use to lure her. You can do that. Then reduce the hours in the subsequent days. For instance, she took 2 hours to make her hair and she was on the screen for 2 hours. So for the next subsequent days, subtract that extra 1 hour. Do you see? But do what works for your home. What I teach, take it and work it within the unique context of your home. So Jamila, one thing I'll advise is if she needs you to plait her hair, I'm a mother. I know what it means. I know what it means to get baby girls to make their hair. So use the screen, subtract that extra time from the other days that she's supposed to watch screen. So if you do 3 times a week, 4 times a week, and all of that, subtract it. Okay. So that's it for number one strategy: reduce screen time. If possible, I saw Dr. Dina Wanali share that she stopped subscribing her DSTV and or Go TV or Star Times, whatever you use, and that really helped her curtail the amount of time her children spent on screen. So you can decide to go cold turkey. Don't subscribe. If you see NTA 2 times, it's not God that will tell you to put off the TV. If your network provider, your satellite TV provider allows NTA, your child hears NTA 2 times, they're going to off the television and go and find something else productive to do with their time. Okay. So and another thing I need you to consider is replacement. Okay. Removing screen time entirely, replace it. Rather than removing screen time entirely, replace it so that your children don't feel like you are um, denying them of a privilege. It could cause kids to become very cranky and all of that. So remove and replace. Remove screen time, replace with games. Remove screen time, replace with family bonding activities. Remove screen time and replace with books. Remove screen time and replace with outdoor games. Okay? Remove screen time and replace with board games. Somebody's asking, what do we replace with? I'm listing them down. I guess you asked this question a while ago. Remove screen time, replace with board games. Remove screen time, replace with family bonding activities. Remove screen time, replace with outdoor games. Remove screen time and replace with reading. Remove screen time and replace with activities in the home. Remove screen time and replace with storytelling. Those are things you can replace your screen time with. Let's move on. Number 2, break down tasks into pieces. Okay? Break down tasks into pieces. For instance, you have a 5-year-old, and amazingly, this stuff we're learning about attention is not just for when the child is okay. Let me pause to read Esther's comment. Esther, thank you for sharing. She says, I replace color with coloring, drawing, reading, board games, football. Esther, well done, Mama. I love it. Coloring, drawing, reading, board games, football. Awesome. Consider an appropriate. Thank you so much for listing it. I can't tell who your name is, but thank you so much. We must replace with family bond, activity, board games, outdoor games, reading, storytelling. Yes. Number 2, breakdown task. For instance, you're giving a task to your 6-year-old, and we know that their average attention span is between 12 to 30 minutes. What if you are able to break down that task to, okay, I need you to do so thing. Let's use reading. I need you to read 3 pages of your storybook. What if you break it down to read 1 page for 10 minutes, read the second page for another 10 minutes, read the third page for another 10 minutes. So rather than bulking up activities or tasks or studying, whatever you need them to do, break it down. Remember, they are kids. Their brains are not as developed as your brains are not as developed as their brains are not as developed as yours. Okay, so break down tasks for them. Does my screen time count for her? If she's watching it, of course it counts. But if she's doing something else while you're doing your own screen time, it doesn't count. But if she's watching it with you, whether she understands it or not, it counts. But if you're engaging her, so what I like to do is that I engage Vicky and I watch my Johnsons for myself. Or I like flatmates. So I engage her, get her busy doing one thing or the other while I watch away. Or if it's something I really need to watch, I count it as a screen time. I just count it and reduce. But remember, replace, remove, and replace. And remember your family context. So you can decide that a child could do 2 hours today, but next tomorrow, no screen time. But ensure you're within the right limits. Google screen time timeline. You're going to see all the screen time, or I could just do that on this live call and share my screen. So I just want to um timeline for children. So I'll share my screen. So we know the right screen time. I should have listed this out. Screen time. Okay, screen time. I'm here, guys. Screen time. Duration. I use timeline. I'm seeing something funny. Screen time duration. Please let me know if you can still. Okay. So I'm seeing for children. So just okay. Awesome. Okay. So I'm going to be. I've gotten what I'm looking for. So I'm going to share my screen in a bit. Okay. So I'm back. I want to share my screen. So please let me know if you can see my screen. Please let me know if you can see my screen. Okay, so let me know if you can see my screen, please. Can you see my screen? I see yes and I move on. Can you see my screen, guys? Okay, you can see my screen. Awesome. Now for your great. Now for your 18 to or younger children, it states that no screen time is no screen time at the best. Okay, no screen time, exception of live video chat with family and friends. Now for 18 to 2 years, limit screen time and avoid solo use. Choose quality education programming and watch with kids to ensure understanding and scrutiny. Okay, then for your 2 to 5 year old, limit screen time to an hour a day. Parents should watch as well to ensure understanding, application, and scrutiny to the world. For your 6 or older, place consistent limits on the time spent and types of media. Don't let screen time affect sleep and exercise or other behaviors. Okay, great. So we now understand, according to APA, which who are the American Pediatric Association. Someone is asking that I zoom in. I did. I don't know if you saw that, but if you're in the WhatsApp group, I'm going to share to you guys. So please note that the replay will be available for you. So because what you're learning is a lot. This is a 2-hour masterclass. It's a lot. So the replay will be available. Just send me a DM for just 1,000 naira, and I'm going to be giving you the replay alongside my free ebook. Um, yes, I'll do that, Jamila. I'll send it to the group. It's going to be available with my free ebook, Teaching Made Easy for Parents. So you're going to get that bundled together for 1,000 naira. And I'm going to also add a video course, how to motivate your children to learn. So you're going to get 3 of these for 1,000 naira. You're going to get a live recording of this course. You're going to get my free ebook, Teaching Made Easy for Parents. And you're also going to get my course, which I'm bundling with it, how to motivate your children to learn. So if you need that, just send me an inbox. I'm going to announce later in the group so you can grab this and listen to this over and over again, because repetition calls for emphasis. Awesome. So let's move on. Break task. So we're done with the conversation around screen time. So I'm going to take a screenshot and send to the group probably later in today. Okay, so someone is saying I need it. Yeah, that's the spirit I love. So if you're in the WhatsApp group, just send me personal DM when I announce this evening. You're going to get this bundled up together, and you're going to get ooh, all right. Yes, someone is saying, I noticed they don't always understand what they're watching. Yes, they don't. Just the colors and cartoons. Now you can replace those cartoons with education now. If you remember our printable here, you're going to see that you replace with educational materials. So you can download a lot of. I know. I use what are they called? Coco Melon for Vicky, and they have lots of educational materials. So you can download in your USB. If you have a USB friendly television, just plug it in. So rather than those hours they spend on Nickelodeon and Jim Jam, and you can, I love their number of their shows that are great. Pinkalicious. I love Pinkalicious. I love Angelina Ballerina. I know there are a number of them that are great, but at the same time, you want to balance these things. So that their screen time, you can dedicate it to educational materials. Just need to download from YouTube, put on your TV, and you're good. Or you buy those CDs. Uh, Esther, why are you laughing? Jamila said, I use that to taught my daughter a lot of things. Yes. Okay, so we've had enough of the screen time. Let's move back to how to help our children. Break down tasks. Rather than giving a child a task for a length of time. Why are you guys laughing? PBS is very educational. Yes, yes, I think so. What's PBS, please? Please share with us. We are all learning together. Who is laughing? Is it because of the way that I'm reeling it out, my sister? If you're a toddler boy, you have to know those things because they're going to make you know it. Okay, it's not an app. It's a YouTube channel, Coco Melon. Let me type it in the comment section. And cocoa melon, cocoa melon. Yeah, so it's cocoa melon. It's on the screen. It's on your screen. Cocoa melon. It's an amazing YouTube channel. They have thousands of videos, very educational. And yes, let me say this: if you're reducing your child's screen time, there is an app called Boom Player. Boom Player app. I think it's on iOS and is it on iOS? I don't know. I use Android. A Boom Player app. It's a music app. Search for Coco Melon. If you have less than 18 months old, I used it. My friend Lois, thank you, Lois. She introduced me to that audio playlist. So um, all those videos that you have on Coco Melon, they have the audio version on Boom Boom Player, so you can play it and use storytelling to tell your children the pictures. All right, play it, Johnny, Johnny, yes, Papa. You have it on audio for children who are less than 18 months. If you want to stick to the screen time rule, use Boom Player app. Let me show it on the screen. Boom Player app. Okay. Um, yeah, your Coco Melon is for yes, it's from 18 months up. They have good educational materials. The Coco Melon is not on TV; it's on YouTube. So just search it on YouTube. It's on YouTube. Pinkolicious, Eliana of Avalon. It's great, but at the same time, you want to be there. They have a lot of magic, spell, that you might need. I'm not saying you should alienate your children from those stuff, but you might want to explain to them in context of your belief and your values as a family. Okay, okay. Yes. All right. So let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. So number two would be to break tasks. Someone asked a question. You might need to get the replay for 1,000 naira. I have answered all the questions here. All right. You might need to get the replay for 1,000 naira with all the other bonuses that come with it. So I've answered the questions. So you might need to catch a replay to know if I've answered your question. Or ask again. Ask again. Yes, Boom Player is on Android. And yes, almost every Android phone has it. I don't know if it's on iOS. So probably check Audio Mac for iOS, iPhone gang. We, the Android gang, we use Boom Player. So see if it's there for you guys. Okay. Move on. Number two, break tasks into time and quantity. If your child is expected to read 5 pages of books, instead of expecting them to read 5 pages as a stretch, break it one and a half, two. Okay? One and a half, one and a half, two. Okay, your yes, I mentioned your screen time could count for her if she was watching with you, but if you could engage her on other activities, then it wouldn't count. Okay. And at the same time, if she watches with you and elapses her screen time, you can decide to make up with the other days. It's your home, your unique context. Subtract, add, divide, multiply. What works for your home according to the principles that apply. Number three, understand your child's temperament, your child's personality, your child's energy cycle, and your child's learning style. Let's start from temperament. Understand your child's temperament. List it down in the comment section, please. Understand your child's temperament. Understand your child's personality, their learning styles, and their energy cycle. Understand their learn temperament. Let's start from temperament. We know temperaments are classified into two: extroverts and introverts. And we all know that extroverted people are naturally the more energetic children. They are always on the move. They are more energetic. And we find that because of that excess energy they have, they tend to lose focus easily because they like to play. They are more jovial. They like to talk. So because of their temperaments, it could affect how much they are able to concentrate. It's, it can affect. Number two, we talked about their learning styles. We have about four learning styles. Someone said, please, you're not answering me. Please ask your question again. Thank you. We have about four learning styles. Okay, we have about three learning styles: the visual, the auditory, and the kinesthetic. We find that kinesthetic learners, because of their makeup, right? Because of their makeup, they are more that those learners that are not able to sit at a spot. They like to move. They like to move here, there, here, there, here, there, here, there. They like to move. So because of that, they could move and forget, other than the auditory learner who is able to sit at a spot. And a lot of times you find that a lot of kinesthetic learners are also extroverted. You always, yes, you can't find auditory learners who are extroverted. You can find kinesthetic learners who are introverted, but a lot of times we have kinesthetic learners who are extroverted. So you find that because of that, their inability to sit at a spot, they like to move, they're a lot more daring, it could reduce their attention span. So this understanding this will help you know that since this my child is sorry. Now, it will help you understand that since this my child is always likely to be on the move, so that means that they will not be able to pay as much attention to an auditory learner who is able to sit down and take all the information they are getting in. Okay, so when this knowledge is going to help a lot. Number three, understand your child's energy cycle. Now, even this energy cycle can help your productivity as a parent. What is your energy cycle? It is the time with which parents are a lot, with which individuals, adults, people are a lot more productive. Okay, someone is asking, how do we apply this to older children of 8 to 10? For the screen time, you want to have conversations with them that for some reason we'll have to reduce our screen time. Then for your 8 to 10 year old, they're a lot older, use replacement a lot. So as you're removing the screen time, replace it. As you're removing the screen time, replace it. Children don't thrive in boredom. So you have to think of ways through family bonding activities. I listed a lot of that you can use to replace the screen time. And even if, and you can also get them to earn their screen time or go cold turkey. Don't subscribe to DSTV at all, or the Go TV or Star Times, whatever you're using. Don't subscribe at all. Get books, buy coloring books, buy drawing books, get them to go for excursions, get them to explore. There are thousands of things you can do with your 8 to 10, your older children. Thousands of things. From as early as 3. Someone is asking what age should we want to begin to explain. From as early as 3. From as early as 3, should be able to explain what they are watching. Once they are able to understand you, from as early as 3, different children have different rates with which they understand. From as early as 3, you can start explaining. Once your child is able to understand, once your child is able to understand, you can start explaining. Okay, so energy cycle at times when people are more productive. There are people who are more productive in the morning. There are people who are more productive in the afternoon. There are people who are more productive in the night. So you must understand, when is my child most productive? Then when you identify that period your child is most productive, you can decide to give them more tasks to do towards that during that time that they are more productive. So that time your child is more productive, give them more tasks. Let me say this again. That time your child is more productive, give them more tasks. Okay? Now, another way children can be more productive is when they have something we call a power nap. It could just be for like 10 minutes, 10, 20 minutes, allow them sleep. They wake up again, they are a lot more, okay? Wake up again, they are a lot more agile. Okay? So let's move on. Number 5, encourage attention breaks. It can be related with number 2, where we talk about breaking down tasks. So instead of allowing your child to do a particular task for 30 minutes stretch, if that is not within the limit of their attention span, you can encourage breaks. So they do for 20 minutes, they take a 5 minute break. That 5 minute break that they take can be an energy booster. That's 5 minutes break they take. I actually also teach this concept when it has to do with understanding your child's learning style. especially when it has to do with kinesthetic learner. You see that 5 minutes break where you give them the opportunity to go ride bicycles, blow bubbles, jump on the bed, come back. There's an adrenaline rush. And when they have that adrenaline rush, they come back to learning with that same energy. So encourage attention breaks. If your child's attention span is within 10 to 15 minutes, after the first 10 minutes, give a little bit of break. 5 minutes, gist, play. Ask them to tell you what they just learned. Drink water, take a snack, take a nap, come back. Even for adults too, this helps. Attention breaks. Yeah, I like what the book is saying. Yes, it's true. Attention breaks helps a lot. What the child does, what it does for your child is that after your child takes everything in and you give them that break and they go do something energetic, adrenaline is pumped back into their system and they come back with um, that same energy. That's why children are a lot more attentive after the break period. That's why in school we have the break period. So we do about 3 sessions, 9, 10, 11. Children go for break for like 30 minutes. They gist. We always find that the first period immediately after break, children are more spoiled to learn as against the last period before the break. What happened? The same children, but they had a little bit of break. Okay, so have attention breaks. Number whatever is, let them play jump dancing gist, yes, but remember there should be guidance in whatever you're encouraging them to do. Please guide them. Children can take things overboard, so please guide them. Thank you, the 21 of you who are joining this call. Remember, you can get the replay for just 1,000 naira, and we have an amazing announcement you might want to jump into at the end of this call. So please stay till the end. I'm sure you're going to get excessive value. Okay, the next point, we move in to bring creativity to the task. Children struggle in boredom. Children struggle in boredom. Children struggle in boredom. When a task is boring, okay? When a task is boring, your child will struggle. I always encourage that parents get children to read, study, you teach to learn in emotionally charged environments. If you've ever listened to my session lately, you always hear me talk about the concept of an emotionally charged environment. You never forget. You never forget things that you take in an emotionally charged environment. Take for instance your wedding day. You will never forget your wedding day. It was an emotionally charged environment. The same goes for children. If a task is exciting, they will want to do it till the end. That is why we encourage to use a multi-sensory approach to teaching. Let them see, let them hear, let them do. As you do this, you're appealing to your children's senses, you're appealing to their sight, motion, and sound. Use a multi-sensory approach. Why my phonics program works like magic is because I use a multi-sensory approach. If I'm teaching children diagrams and they forget it, all I need to do is to do like this, and the child remembers that it is sound. It is sound related to this action. All I need to do is like, oh, and they remember the sound for OA and OW. All I need to do is to do E. I'm using action. I'm using motion. I'm using action. I'm using motion. I'm using action. I'm using motion. So use a multi-sensory approach to giving instructions. Demonstrate what you're trying to explain to them. Use their sound, use the visuals. Okay? Children do not thrive in boredom. Someone is saying, can you please explain more attention span on attention span? I did justice to attention span. Or when if you, I think person asking this question did not join us earlier, so please get this replay for 1,000 naira, and you would have access to that. I spent over 20 minutes explaining attention span, so please catch the replay. It's really going to be beneficial to you. Okay, thank you for asking. All right, so bring creativity to the task. Why should a task be boring when it can be fun? Why should you sit on a spot when you can dance? Why should a child stand when they can run? Children do not thrive in boredom. The brain doesn't remember boring activities. That is why if you think reading is boring, you will sleep off. If you think reading is boring, you will sleep off. Reading is sedative. If you think it is, if you think it's boring, why do you think a number of people just watching TV, tell them to come and read their book, they start sleeping? It's boring. The brain does not thrive with boring activities. The brain loves energy. Your child has to be pumped towards a task. Make it creative. Another one, use affirmations. If you know me, you know that I am huge on affirmations. My toddler didn't talk. She wasn't the fastest toddler to talk. We're still learning to talk. She's 2 plus. And but what I did when she was younger, I wanted to introduce affirmations, and I kept on waiting for her to be able to talk. I kept on waiting for her to be able to talk, but she wasn't. It wasn't coming up. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to start. I changed your diaper by saying I'm strong, I'm smart, I'm wise, I'm healthy. Jesus loves me, and all of that. I'm bold. Guess what, guys? About a week, 2 weeks ago, Vicky is not saying affirmations. I'm bold, I'm strong, I'm wise. So if you have a 2-year-old, please don't wait. I have one of my friends, Christabel, she might be on this live call, who she got I saw a video of her, I think, 18-month-old son, if he's up to that, saying his affirmations. So she would call, he would respond. She would call, he would respond. So use affirmations. If your child has serious issues with focus, use affirmations. Your brain processes words and words. It doesn't understand if it's a good word or a bad word. Once your child repetitively says something to themselves, it goes from their conscious mind to their subconscious mind. It begins to color the lens through which they see things. It begins to affect their mindset. Affirmations. Use affirmations if you find your child struggling with any particular area of their studies or anything generally. It could be character, it could be mathematics, phonics, reading, English, math, science, focus, logic. What are the affirmations you can use? I need you guys to write this down in the comment section. I can focus on difficult tasks. Number one, I can focus on difficult tasks. Number two, I am attentive to my tasks and my studies. I am attentive to my tasks and my studies. I need us to please write it down. Number three, I will be observant and attentive. I will be observant and attentive. I will be observant and attentive. I can see it down in the comment section. Let me start again. I can focus on difficult tasks. Please write this down, write down the information so you can remember it. I can focus on difficult tasks. Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so number two, I will be observant and attentive. I will be observant and attentive. I am committed. I am committed. My focus is sharp. My focus is sharp. My focus is sharp. If I was telling my child, this is what we're going to do, my focus is sharp, multisensory. They're hearing it, they're acting. My focus is sharp. My focus is sharp. My focus is unbreakable. My focus is unbreakable. Whenever they start, whenever you find that your child is not able to focus, help guide them to say their focus affirmations. My focus is sharp. My focus. I am observant and attentive. I am committed. My focus is unbreakable. My focus is unbreakable. I am committed. I am committed. I can focus on difficult tasks. I am observant and attentive. So let's say it together, everybody. If you're good, so I'm going to give it all so you can all get. I want us to say it together. So I want us to say our focus affirmations together. My focus is sharp. I will be observant and attentive. I am committed. My focus is unbreakable. I am observant and attentive. I am committed. Let's not forget that affirmations take information from your child's conscious to their subconscious. And it's their subconscious that rules their minds, not necessarily their conscious. It's the subconscious. There are a lot of things you do because information has been wired from your conscious and to your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind colors your mindset, it colors your beliefs. So whenever you find it difficult for your child to concentrate, use their affirmations for them. My focus is sharp. I am observant and attentive. My focus is unbreakable. I am able to commit to difficult tasks. At the same time, you can decide to use any affirmations of your choice, but affirmations are powerful. I have a free ebook. That ebook is amazing. It has gotten to the hands of over 500 parents, and the reviews are mad. Oh, they are amazing. So please search the group or send me a DM on WhatsApp. I'm going to send you the link. It's free, it's colorful, you can download it. It has other learning affirmations. And for people who grab this offer to get the this replay, you're going to be getting access to an affirmation specially crafted for the new term. Your child's learning affirmations and still coming up with the idea, and our materials are great. So we're going to be giving everybody who gets this replay an affirmation, um, probably blueprint or something, just something you can paste every morning as they go to school. They can easily recite it. Learning is easy and fun for me today. My focus is we have all these there. We have for different logic, reasoning. We're just going to have a lot of things go up together for your kids in that affirmation stuff are coming up for the new term. So who is excited? Get the replay. You have about 4 bonuses all together in the replay. Now you get this, you get my book, Teaching Made Easy. I expatiated on the attention span, on basically how you can teach your child things teachers use in the classroom and you can use in your home. And you also get how to get your children to fall in love with learning and probably more bonus. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Grab the offer now. So let's get to the next point. Healthy food. Do you know that the food your child eats can contribute. The food your child eats can contribute to their attention, the food they eat. Foods high in junk foods, right? Junk food, yeah, I love the excitement. Thank you guys so much. Oh, my network is freezing. Is it only at my end? Guys, can you all still hear me? Please let me know. Can you all still hear me? All right, so let's move on, please. Healthy food. Get your children to eat foods high in protein. Reduce junk foods as much as possible. That excess sugar that your children consume when they eat junk food can actually affect their what's it called? That junk food can actually affect their concentration. That excess sugar, it could make a child lose concentration. I heard this from a so I'm not a nutritionist. Esther is asking for a food timetable. Honestly, I'm not a nutritionist. I have barely no idea. I just know you should give your children balance their meals, balanced diet, veggies, give them fruits. They don't like fruits. Use smoothies. They don't like vegetables. Blend it, put it there. If you have younger children, please start early to give them vegetables. I started from as early as 6 months for Vicky. I started making purees for her, and everybody was laughing at me. What are you doing? You are doing overdo. My mother was laughing. I'm sure she's watching this thing. Everyone was laughing. What are you doing? I'll make those purees, put in the fridge. Right now, Vicky is such a foodie, and and I'm having a swell time feeding her. So if you don't have babies yet, or you're still having going to have babies, start early to introduce to diversify your child's taste buds. That's all I can say. What can you reduce snacks, replace snacks? Please, if you find, tell me. I don't know. I know fruits. I'm really thinking Vicky is going to be starting school in September, hopefully, and I want us to reduce on snack and hopefully fruit. Hopefully fruit. But fruits might spoil. Probably homemade snacks, plantains. I really don't know. If you know, please give in the comment section. It really helped me as well because I'm really thinking of ways not to start school with those junk. I really do not like them. Okay. So that's it for healthy food. Then give your children strategies for their learning styles. Now, there are study strategies, in terms of um, especially in terms of your child's learning style. Give your child strategies, especially in terms of their learning styles. For instance, for your visual learner, once they start getting bored, teach them to visualize. They should visualize what they are learning. They should picture it in their minds. Visual learners have the capacity to paint amazing pictures in their minds. So as they're learning, teach them to visualize. Allow them, encourage them to draw. They should create mind maps while um reading. They should doodle, use flashcards, multimedia. All of those things can help. All of those things can help. Awesome. Who is this? Thank you so much. God bless you. I can't even see the name. Please, can you type in your name? The person whose comment is on the screen. Let me come and take. Let me come and take calls from you. I plan to prep fruit juices ahead and refrigerate. Another great drink is Zobo, sweetened with honey or dates. Even herbal teas sweetened with honey or date. Amazing. Thank you. Please, who is this? Could you follow me? Thank you for me. You should come and take master class review. Awesome. I'm going to screenshot it. That's why you need to get the replay. Get the replay so you see all these things. So you see them. Yes, reduce junk food. Now, the next one I'm giving now are strategies according to learning styles. Teach your children skills, study skills for their learning styles. I have a course in my Jumpstart program. That course is amazing. Like the strategies there, what we call game changer. That's what we call it, game changer. For your auditory learners, encourage them to read aloud. I'm an auditory learner. If you find me in my secret place, this is a secret. If you find me in my secret place, I'm talking to myself. I'm auditory, right? I love to voice out things for me to be able to comprehend it a lot better, right? So teach your children, your auditory learners, to read aloud, to use songs, music, mnemonics. They work a lot. For your kinesthetic learners, experimenting, movement, breaks, work a lot for your kinesthetic learners. Let's rush. Another one we could do is reward systems. Use reward. Reward works for everybody. Use affirmations, reinforcements, reward, praises, right? Cheer them on when they do something right. Okay. Cheer your kids on when they do things right. That is that for that. So let's move to memory. Let's move to memory. But while we catch on, I'm going to be taking a quick water break. Let me just sip water quickly. I'll be right back. So I just want to sip water quickly. Just give me about 1 minute, 30 seconds actually to sip water. I've been talking for at least 1 hour, almost 1 hour, 30 minutes. So just give me a little bit of time to sip water. I will be right back. All right, guys, we're back. All right, we're back. Thank you so much. We're back. All right, so next we're going to is memory. And let's take a quick sip of water. We're back. Thank you for staying on. The next we'll move on to is memory. Memory. Come back, guys. Where are you going to? We're back. We're back. We're back. Memory. Like I told you guys earlier, memory works a lot with thank you. You love the music. Thank you so much. I love music a lot. Thank you. Thank you. If you watch Night School, you will read it. Thank you. All right. Thank you. All right. So I'm back. I needed to sip a bit of water. Now let's talk about memory as we round up in the next 30 minutes. Let's talk about memory for a bit. Like I mentioned earlier, there is no memory works hand in hand with attention. Let me say it again. Memory and attention work hand in hand. So that means that there is no memory, there's no retention without attention. Okay, that's why I talked about attention first before we now get to memory. Now, memory is an important part of. Can you hear me now? Oh, wow. Can you guys hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me, please? Okay, great. Yes, thank you. All right, so there is no retention without attention. Memory and attention work hand in hand. If you'd watched the earlier part of this webinar, I explained how it works, how attention and retention work. It's the reason why you forget your keys, your car keys, whatever you forget is because you didn't pay a particular attention to be able to remember. It's as simple as that. Whenever you're rushing, okay, thank you guys so much for the feedback. Whenever you're rushing, that's when you always forget things, forget where you place things. So if you're having issues with forgetting, this session is really going to help you. If you're having issues with forgetting things, this section is really going to help you. I learned when I was doing my research for this class that sometimes when you don't want to forget a thing, always take a second look at that thing, right? What you do at that point is that you deliberately ask your mind, remember this thing. What you're doing, I think you're taking a snapshot. Okay, this is where I kept it. This is the position. This is how it's kept. This is on the particular place it is. When you go and come back, you always remember because you were deliberate to pay attention. All right. So when I went out yesterday, I was carrying like a lot of bags. So I had to start practicing it, take a visual snapshot because where I kept it. Okay, you are here, you're at this point, let me go and come back. When you pay attention to things, you will easily remember. Now, memory is such an important skill and part of building a great learning foundation for your kids. Okay, memory is a very important um, skill in building a solid and amazing foundation for learning for your kids. Having a great memory can help your children do better in school. Having a great memory can help your children do better in school. The reason why lots of children, don't do so well in school, I'm just realizing that we might have people who are sending in requests to join the group. So let me quickly accept them. Oh dear, I just realized that we might have like a lot of people waiting to join the tribe. I can imagine we have 7 people. Oh my god. So sorry, guys. Oh dear. I have about 7 people. Please, can someone help me type in the group that we've approved them? Oh dear. So sorry, guys. I had no inkling. I forgot totally. Okay, so we're back. Your child's memory skills play a great role in school. And there are 2 types of memory. We have the short-term memory and the long-term memory. Short-term memory helps children process and recall information on the go. Okay, it helps children recall on the go. Now, this short-term memory can also be called a working memory, the memory they need to work at the time, at the goal. Okay. Now, for long-term memory, it's a memory that helps children remember things they learned probably weeks ago. Long, just like the name states, long-term memory and short-term memory. Okay. Now, one of the ways you can now let's get to strategies for memory. Number one, encourage children to ask questions. When they don't understand, they should ask questions. It's difficult for a child to remember what they don't understand. It's difficult for your child to remember what they don't understand. It's very difficult for a child to remember what they don't understand. So you want to encourage them to ask lots of questions. When you give them instructions, they should feel free to ask questions. Because when you understand an instruction, you better you'll be better able to remember that instruction. When you understand an instruction, you will be better able to remember that instruction. Again, when you understand an instruction, you'll be better able to remember that instruction. So encourage children to ask questions. While you're teaching, ensure your child understands it. Ensure they understand it. Because and helping children remember works works hand in hand with how you're teaching. So you want to help your children, encourage them to ask lots of questions, okay? Encourage them to ask loads and loads and loads and loads of questions. Encourage children to ask lots of questions. When they ask questions and they remember, it causes deeper comprehension. Number two, encourage children to remember to use rhymes and songs. Why do you think that you remember songs easily? Let me give you an example. If you are a 90s child like myself, so that means you went to secondary school around 2001, probably to 2010, around that time with. And it was around that period that P Square, pardon me, I went to a federal school, but I just want to be as I want to be as illustrative as possible so you really understand, right? So I'm not wasting your time. It was around 2004, 2005, 6, 7, 8 that P Square, Peter and Paul Okoye came into the music scene. And their first song was I think it's a busybody with your busybody, yeah, right? If you can remember that song, please I want to see your comments in the comment section. I'm trying to make an illustration. One of their first songs, if you went to federal school like myself, they used it for social nights. Seniors used to play it with your busybody, yeah, no, seniors used to play it. Now we're saying yes, thank you. That don't feel weird. Thank you. So we had a number of their songs, Do Me, Busybody, Get Set or Get Something. Now, this is over almost 20 years after. I remember the song, true. This is almost 20 years after. I bet you, if I hear Busybody now, I can sing it. To them, me, say, I can remember it. Sorry, I can. Why? Your brain is wired to remember music and patterns. Who is laughing? I'm a teacher. My class is exciting. I'm able to remember it. Why? Because your brain is wired to remember music and patterns. So we can teach children to use songs. So when a concept is difficult for them to remember, uh, who is laughing at me? So when a song is difficult for your child to remember, forget this my voice. Thank you, Joanne. So when it's difficult for a child to remember something, encourage them to use songs. So it could be a concept, they can form a song with it, they will never forget. Let me take you back to my JSS 3 in 2006. My teacher, Mrs. Ajekwe, I think that's her name, she taught us this song. we used to learn the 20 elements. I didn't do science in university. Let me explain. After I failed out for medicine, but I tried to know the science. My academic journey is long. Um, I didn't do science. But after I think about 2006, after 15 years, I'm still able to remember the 20 elements wholly just by those songs. Hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen. How am I able to remember the 20 elements? I can call the 20 of them, but I can't call them if I'm thinking hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron. I have to be saying it in my heart to be able to remember. Why? Your brain is wired to remember music. So please, let's teach children if a child is struggling with forgetting, or not even just struggling with forgetting, but a way to better improve their memory and retention, they should use songs. They should use songs. I remember when we learned seven continents in children's church years ago. Do you know, till now, I'm not able to call the seven continents. If I don't sing, there are seven continents in the world. I can name them. What about you? Jesus, one North America. I still can't list it without singing those songs. So even when I'm teaching, right? When I used to be in the classroom practically, I used to have to sing it in my heart and not be writing my lesson notes. Music works wonders when it has to do with learning. I'm back, guys. Sorry. Now, one of the reasons why I decided to center around showing parents learning strategies is so that we can make learning easy. So you're pushing your muscle. No, there are shortcuts. Okay, there are shortcuts that we can teach children that we make learning. There are shortcuts. I can I still remember. I'm breaking. Yes, I noticed. I'm back on, right? Am I back on, please? My network provider, they were sending a message. Am I back on? I think I'm back on now. Thank you. I'm back on, right? Please give me feedback. Am I back on? My network provider was sending message and I knew it cut off whenever the message came in. Okay. So teach children two songs. Learning doesn't have to be in Igbo. Now it will say, sorry, let me just use my dialect. Sometimes English is hard to explain. Anani muscle, like you're pushing muscle, you're pushing your muscle. You want to grow muscle just because you want to teach children to read. No, learning can be easy. We can show children shortcuts. It doesn't have to be the way it was for us when our parents just tossed book. Say, go and read your book. You're not reading your book. Go and read your book. You're not reading your book. The child go and read the book and be sleeping. Sleep off for the comment. Mommy, I finished reading. Exam, they come back with a poor result. You're beating yourself. Why are you? Why are you? Why are you? Why are you now? Why are you? After I pay school fees. Learning is not an innate skill. It has to be developed. Okay. So number two, use rhymes, use music. Number three, make learning exciting. I mentioned this part of making learning exciting when we talked about attention, and it's still the same thing. Your brain remembers emotionally charged events. That's why you can remember your wedding day. That's why you remember the day you had a baby. That's why you're going to remember the day something happened to you, something bad happened to you. That's why if you have ever been in an accident, you will never forget it. You will always remember. You remember why it was an emotionally charged environment. Get children, get their buy-in while teaching. Okay, get your child buy-in while teaching. Make learning exciting. We talked about boredom. Learning doesn't, children don't thrive in boredom. All right, get learning, make it exciting. When they are involved, use a multisensory approach, sight, sound, motion. Get them to be involved. Okay. Use visual aids, use mind maps, use learning aids, learning materials, those things stick. Use mnemonics. Okay. Use mnemonics. The mnemonics are letters or concepts or keywords that help you remember faster. I like to use this example, Mr. Niger D. Let me type it out. Mr. Niger D. I learned it in JSS1, Integrated Science. Mr. Niger D. Movement, respiration, nutrition, irritability, growth, excretion, reproduction, digestion. This was JSS1 was how many years ago? Almost 20. 18 years ago. That was just this one. But I'm still able to remember this mnemonic. So we can teach children to use mnemonics, especially as they grow older and as they become independent learners. We can encourage them, we can teach them to use this concept of mnemonics. We can encourage them to use this concept of mnemonics. Mnemonics work a lot. They are amazing. Okay? They are amazing. Another thing you can encourage a child to do is to teach. You would always find that you can easily remember anything that you teach. If you're not able to stay to the end of this call, remember that you can still have access to the replay for just 1,000 naira with about 4 bonuses when you get the replay for just 1,000 naira. You can always get this, remind yourself of where you are, where you need to remember, where you're forgetting. It will really come in very handy for you. Okay, so use of mnemonics work. Encourage your child to teach. Teaching works a lot. That's why people who teach a concept can basically now teach without their notes. Why? Repetition calls for emphasis. Repetition calls for emphasis. So when they learn something that you know was difficult, they should come and teach you. They should teach their dad. They should teach their siblings. Make it exciting. They should do a presentation. If we teach children to teach, to share a knowledge that they've gotten, it goes from the short term to the long term. They won't forget it. They will not. That's why your teachers at a point, I teach phonics. I don't need to look at my note. I don't need to look at a flashcard. I've done it over and over and over and over and over again. Repetition calls for emphasis. Teach children. Encourage your children to teach. Okay. Another thing you can use is storytelling, repetition, make learning impressive. Take stress out of of learning. Okay, take stress out of learning. Now, this was something I learned recently. Stress causes the brain system to send information in a panic mode to the reactive brain What this reactive brain does is that it does the fight, flight, freeze. It's hanky panky information. Okay, and it now prevents information from getting to the reflective, higher thinking, conscious brain. And it is only when information gets to this reflective, higher thinking, conscious brain, which is the prefrontal cortex, that is when information is stored. So you want to take stress out of learning. Some time ago, I saw in a community, their parents were asked how they used to do their children's homework, and they were just sharing their strategies, how they will beat, that their children know they will not joke with them. And I'm like, woohoo, you are wasting your time. I'm sorry. Once there is stress related to learning, it's not a long, it doesn't get to the long-term memory. That's why your child must not associate learning with fear, because they will associate learning all the days of their life with flight, freeze, and fight. It's a hanky panky thing. It will never get to the point where it never gets to the point where they have to remember. No. So take stress out of learning. Okay, make it fun. Take stress out of learning. Okay. Jamila is saying I relate to this even as an adult. I agree. She says I relate to this even as an adult. I agree. I agree. I agree. So let me know if you've gotten value so far. So the last but not the least we're going to do today, I'm going to be sharing brain power activities. Remember that in the beginning of this class, I mentioned that everything your child needs to learn, everything your child needs to learn, okay? Everything a child needs to learn are cognitive skills. And just like every skill, cognitive skills can be developed. Okay, just like every skill, the cognitive skill can be developed. Just like every skill, the cognitive skill can be developed. The cognitive skill can be developed. But how do we develop our children's logic and reasoning, their visual and auditory processing? How do we improve their working memory, their short-term memory, their long-term memory? How do we improve their sustained um, attention? How do we improve their divided attention and their selective attention? How do we improve all of these? Okay. Number one, you can do this through brain boosting activities. Brain boosting activities. Number one, brain boosting activities for your kids is family bonding. Family bonding. Family bonding. Okay, family bonding. Brain boosting activities. Number one, family bonding. See that family playtime? It helps children a lot, especially when they are in the first 5 years of their family. So no matter how busy you are, I need you to start creating time for your children's learning. No matter. Family connection impacts your child's brain development. Let me give you a little illustration of what happens in your child's brain when a child is born. When a child is born, they are born with over 100 billion neurons. And for information to pass to the brain, right? For information to pass through to the brain and to be stored and all of that, there has to be something called synaptic connection. So at the end of the neurons, we have tiny, tiny spikes, right? Called synapses. And for information to pass from one part of the brain to the another, it has to be synaptic connection. Okay. Now, when one neuron can make up to 1 trillion synaptic connections when a child is born, when they are babies. But as the child grows, if the parents are not deliberate about encouraging these synaptic connections, those synapses begin to die off. That is why your child's brain increases to 90% of an adult's brain when the child is around 3, 4. 90% of the adult's brain. So it grows exponentially. Now you're asking, how do I ensure that I retain as much synapses as possible? How do I ensure that and remember that the more synapses a person has, the more cognitively developed that they are. The more synapses a person has in their brains, the more cognitive developed that they are. But those synapses will not retain if you don't do things actively to retain them. And the number one thing you can do is bonding, connection, play with your child, hug, pegs, words of affirmation. Those things are surprisingly very important for your child's brain. So the number one brain boosting activity is family bonding activities. There should be things you do in your home that brings the whole family together. I know that, look, the truth is that as adults, as parents, it could be difficult. Trust me, it can be difficult. It can be difficult trying to trying to manage the children, hobbies, spouse, and all of those good stuff. If you're a lady, the husband, men are their schedules can be crazy, but every family should be able to work out ways whereby they can foster that bond, that connection. It helps your child retain as much synapses as possible. And don't forget, if these synapses are not engaged, they begin to die off. And as they die off, the cognitive skills that can be traced to those synapses die off with them. But of course, they can grow those things back. But why don't we retain it rather than planning to grow it back? Of course, the brain can always regain its functions through the concept called neural plasticity. The brain can also always get back its functions, but at the same time, why do we want to do preventive measures? Number one, brain boosting activity, family bonding. Number two, reduce screen time. If you're catching this webinar late, please go back to get the replays. The replay will not be available in the next 1 hour. We're going to take it off, but please feel free to go back to the get the replay. You're going to get it with four bonuses. My book, Teaching Made Easy, my course, How to Make Your Children Fall in Love with Learning. It's about 45 minutes, amazing, straight to the point course. And you also get it with learning affirmation worksheet for the new term. Affirmations you can easily tell your child. So please get it. It's going to be fantastic. Okay. Number two, brain boosting games. I Spy games, scavenger hunt, Simon Says, um, painting, drawing, coloring, storytelling, these activities that can boost the brain, pretend play, that is like when children act drama, learning, learning musical equipment are fantastic, dancing, learning a skill, coding, artificial intelligence, cooking. These things contribute to the executive functioning of the brain boosting activities. Okay, we have board games like Scrabble. We have board games like Scrabble. We have board games like Scrabble, chess, um, a number of those games. We have puzzles. We have crossword puzzles. We have building blocks. We have a number of those things. Um, they really contribute. So you might want to look into Pecs in the Park. Thank you, Esther. Pecs in the Park. We have a number of games. I spy peekaboo, peekaboo, Legos. Please give me more. Thank you. Painting, coloring, water painting, pre-writing activities for your toddlers. They should learn their sounds, rhymes. Those things are brain boosting activities. And the best time to boost your child's brain is in the first to 5 years. Any other thing from that, you can still achieve it, but you have to put in more effort. Reading, 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 reading. Have a reading culture in your home. Last but not least, use the reward system. I think I've mentioned that before. Use the reward system. Use the reward system in your home. It works a lot. Hi, Esther. My love to them. My love to them. Hey, guys. Hey, girls. Love meeting you guys too. So I think we've come to the end of this class. It has been a very amazing and fruitful 2 hours. So please remember that you can get the replay. Remember that watching this once is really not enough. Okay, watching this once is really not enough. You need to be able to come back and 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 come back. You can decide to pick the attention span because each of the concepts I did my best to explain tentatively in details. I did my best to explain in details how they work. Okay, I did my best to explain in details how they work. So one of the things you can do for me is to come back, come back, come back. And remember for the replay, you're going to get the replay, the link to this replay. You're going to be getting my very mini ebook, about 42 pages, how teaching made easy for parents. You're also going to get my 45 minutes course, how to make your child fall in love with learning. Last but not the least, you're going to be the first to get my affirmation checklist. Is it checklist? Now, what am I saying, precious? It's not checklist, sha, but it's affirmation worksheet. Abi is printable, but just a list of different learning affirmations that you can paste in your home and use during the comment session. You can paste it in your home and use during the comment session. Okay. So if you want it, please type replay in the comment section, and I'm going to respond to you. Or if you're WhatsApp, and if you're not on our WhatsApp community, hey, Jesus, with my Vicky, please send the chat. How do I join the WhatsApp community? Facebook algorithm doesn't allow us to do so much on Facebook because we make a lot of posts, people are not seeing it. So what the WhatsApp helps us reach more people because you see your message. Your message is there. You're going to see it with your eyes. Except you don't like my face. That's why you don't see it. But if you're on the WhatsApp, you're going to see. But with the Facebook algorithm, you can't see our post. That's why we are trying to create a WhatsApp push notification system. So when we have these amazing webinars and stuff for you, you can always get access to it. My goal, my goal, my goal as an educator and a learning strategist is to provide you resources like this so that by at the end of the term, first term, you would have noticed remarkable change. Learning is not just about teaching. There are other things. There are other things we need to put in place. But nobody is shining the spotlight on these things. And what I'm doing is to shine the spotlight on these things that can help you. Is to shine the spotlight. So please follow our content, like our page on Instagram. It's at parentup.ng, or just my name, Precious James Obona, or parentup.ng. Join our mailing list. We're trying our best to be more visible so we can share this content with as much families as possible. I remember one of the hi Topper, thank you so much, sis. I remember one of the webinars I did on in December. I remember Topper gave me a review. So I do remember that webinar in December, and her review was so heartwarming. I should go and look for it and post. I don't really share my reviews as much, but these things are practicable. They're not just theory, they're practicable. Topper, please, can you remember? I want you to leave a comment. Topper shared an amazing review from a webinar, free webinar we did sometime in 24th of December, I remember. She shared a review, and it was heartwarming. So our content is something you can take and practice in your home. One of the things I promote is parental involvement. We want you to be involved. I'm seeing all the replays. Thank you. I'm seeing all the replays. Thank you. I'm going to respond to you guys as soon as possible. I'm going to respond to all your replay as soon as possible. We need to get this replay. You're not going to find it. Please get it and get the other bonuses that comes with it. Parental involvement is key. It is so important. At this point, I'd like to take your questions. Oh my God, thank you, Tope. I'm dancing. Tope said I even have so much testimonies. Oh, my heart is warmed. Thank you. It's glad to know that whatever we share is not just theory or one jargon somewhere. It's something that parents can apply. We talked about mindset and motivation in that class, and it was amazing. You can just check the group to 24th December last year. It was amazing. All right. So thank you guys. I want to take your questions. Topel, please share, please. Thank you. I want to take your questions. Thank you to everybody typing replay. I'm going to respond to you as soon as we're done with this session. So I want to take your questions. Do you have any questions at all? I want to dedicate the next 10 minutes to answering questions revolving around learning, writing, reading, and all that good stuff. So if you have questions, please I want to dedicate the next few minutes to answering your questions. Remember, you can get the replay and get all the bonuses if you pre-order tonight. As soon as I'm done, I'm going to just post the payment link right now. As soon as you pay, if you're not in Nigeria, please let me know so I can send you our seller link. So you don't have any questions? I'm here. If you come and ask me inbox. If you ask me any question inbox, you have to pay. I'm kidding. So do you have any questions? I want to quickly respond. Oh, yes. If you get the replay, you can have access to the question. You can have access to ask your questions. Especially the memory part. Awesome. Yes, you really need to listen again. Okay. You really need to listen again to be able to really grasp. But I did my best to give as much, because I need you to get the replay so you can still play it, and probably we're even going to add accountability, just probably a day accountability, so I know how you're practicing where you give this feedback. But I assure you that you're not going to regret getting the replay. Okay. Right. So I guess I don't have any questions, and that's fine. Thank you so much. I'll appreciate if you can send your review of this session as well, so I kind of know where I should um, where we can improve in our sessions. Okay, so we have the payment on the screen. 472324. Yeah, so we have the payment on the screen. So yes. So guys, we have the payment details on the screen. So you can make payment and send me. The offer for the replay at 2,000 naira actually expires in 48 hours, so it's not actually long. If you just pay after 48 hours, you're just going to get the replay. The other bonuses, is limited to just 48 hours. So you might want to jump on getting the replay almost immediately. So here is the payment details. I should have copied this out earlier, but we learn on the job. So thank you guys so much. Topa is saying that my son is going to be 5 by tomorrow, and he can read flawlessly. Whoa! And can break large words into smaller syllables. He is so much into books, and like you said during that life class, I only motivated him intrinsically, and he took it from there. Whoa! This is fantabulous. Wow, I love this. This is actually my dream for my daughter to be able to read by 5. Well done, Tope. This is so amazing. We're going to probably look at a session where I kind of recap about motivation. It works. It works. It works. Okay. I need Tope's testimony. All right. So probably I should mention that here. What do you guys think? Now I'm going to put out the question. What if I create an accountability group where yes, yes, Jamila, you're already on the right path. So what if I create an accountability group for the next term where we take learning concepts like reading, motivation, mindset, writing, and I provide guidance for 3 months? Do you think it's something you would love? So first of all, everybody coming into that accountability system will evaluate your child. That's the first thing we're going to do. Evaluate your child, provide strategies on how you can help them. That's the second thing we'll do. Then weekly, we have activities, we have reminders, we have systems you can put in place. You have access, you have basically have me as your personal coach, your child's personal learning strategies for 3 months. Is it something you will consider? I want to see your response in the comment section. So if I do this, where we have a system of accountability, where um so if we have a system of accountability, even if your child is 1, they are 2, if your child is a toddler, we'll take you through toddler activities that you can do at home. If you have a child whose their next phase is reading, we'll take you through how to help your child read. I have crazy, I have crazy reviews and results from my reading program for children. Writing, I don't have the best handwriting, But as an educator, it's one place I have interest because if we get it right, the children will get it right. So what do you guys think? I love it. Someone is saying absolutely terrific, achievable, awesome. So I'm going to take this question. If we have up to 20 responses, you have all the details. So we'll use the first three sessions, September, October, November, December, to test run and see if it's something we can run with. My goal is to help you lay the right learning foundation that can and will guarantee academic success. My name is Precious. I am super delighted that you joined us for this session. God bless you. Thank you, Jamila. Thank you, Topper. Thank you, Juan. Thank you, everybody who I couldn't see their names because I can't see your names, but I'm seeing your comments. Thank you, Esther. I'll surely acknowledge your comments after this session. Thank you so much. Please don't forget to get this replay. Get into our WhatsApp system if it's possible. My goal is to put fire on your bomb bomb until your child starts performing to their optimum capacity. That is my goal. Thank you guys so much. God bless you. See you in our backyard. See you on the WhatsApp group. God bless you. Good night, guys. Thank you for being here. Good night, everybody. God bless you.